and welcome to Steven University. This week we are discussing Keep Beach City Weird, an episode in which Ronaldo reveals some of his very bizarre theories to Steven, and the evidence when Steven bizarrely doesn't remember actually causing any of those things himself. Later on he discovers that he is responsible for all of the things that Ronaldo is using to develop his conspiracy theories about Sneeple. When Steven reveals this to Ronaldo, he loses it a little bit, just sort of becomes very disheartened. So Steven tries to cheer him up by dressing up as a snake person to prove his theories right, I guess. It's the logic of a child. And it all goes a bit wrong when Ronaldo captures him and the gems have to save him from Ronaldo, who thinks he's a snake person. And then, in the end, they manage to re-inspire Ronaldo anyway when he develops a completely different theory, one that can't be disproved the same way that the snake people theory can. So it all ends relatively happily. Chris, thoughts?
I think your enjoyment of this episode depends on how annoying you find the character of Ronaldo and how stupid you think it is that Steven doesn't realise that the gems are the cause of all the things.
Yes. Takes Steven a bit too long to remember all that stuff is him.
Yeah. Personally, I find Ronaldo very annoying and think Steven's being an idiot. So it's fine, but this episode was a little bit, we were doing well, man. We were ever since Ocean Gem, Mirror Gem, there was no sort of glitch in the Matrix, and I feel this was a slight glitch. I was watching this surely Dan's not enjoying this as much as recent episodes.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, I couldn't give away that there was an iffy one in my opinion coming up. Obviously, I don't want you to go into any of these episodes with a preconceived notion. But this is one of the weaker episodes of this era of the show, for sure.
Yeah, of Series 1B, as I believe you termed it to me, either on air or off air recently.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's annoying, and it's odd because there's some layer of social commentary about the sort of mad theorists and about people like Alex Jones is the big gun guy, isn't he, in America? Correct me if I've got that wrong.
The InfoWars guy.
Yeah.
He believes. I think I remember it rightly that if I remember this correctly, he believes that the government has poisoned the water to turn frogs gay or something like that. I seem to recall that being one of his many ridiculous theories.
That dude. So it's an interesting commentary on that kind of thing, and Pearl even has a big speech about where she kind of alludes to that and human nature. But that's going over a child's head, and it's not really enough to pull an adult in my opinion, from the sheer bizarreness of it. And just Ronaldo's irritating. He's irritating, and Steven gets there way too late, and it almost reverts. Think about how much Steven has done independently, and in this one, he literally needs to be saved by the gems. It's sweet that it's his good nature that's got him into the problem. So yeah, it's got that going for it, I guess. But it really feels like a few steps back.
Yeah, I think I would agree mostly with that. I think that Ronaldo is he's another divisive character, but more fairly so, I feel. I don't know how much you actually get out of him as a rule, like in an episode like this, is because what they wanted us to feel, I think, is sad for him when he lost his conspiracy theories. It's sweet that Steven cares enough to try and fix it, but because you sort of think what he was doing was so stupid to start with, it's hard to buy into that.
Yeah,
just
and they do, because the other
Sneeple,
kid fixing it at the end is
Petey,
much
his
sweeter
brother.
than they're ever going to be with Steven doing it. So.
Yeah, because obviously Petey, if you don't remember, so they're the two boys that work at the fry shop that we've met previously. In fact, if you remember rightly, Ronaldo as a character has cropped up a fair few times, and even has mentioned his blog before. I mean, do you recall those moments? They were a fair while ago for us now, in terms of recording.
Him mentioning his blog, I did recall, yeah. As soon as he mentioned the blog, I was like, oh, it's this dude. Okay.
So in the fry...
Because at first
Go on.
At first I was like, have they introduced a whole new fucking character? And then he referenced the blog, and I was like, oh, okay, no, I know this guy.
Yeah, so basically, he in the very first one of the very first episodes, he is is shown to be the fry at the fry shop. The bits, and then of course in Cat Fingers and Frybo, he works at the chip shop. So when Steven goes there and Petey's like sad to be in the fry costume because his older brother is the actual fry cook, that's Ronaldo. And then of course in Frybo, when he goes with the cat fingers, in Cat Fingers, when he goes to the fry shop with the cat fingers to show them off, you'll remember that Ronaldo is like in the background and he's like, oh my god, that's so weird, and starts taking pictures of it, pictures which are on his board in this episode, which I thought was a neat touch. And at this point, I'm just waiting for you to yell at me about Cat Fingers, so I'm going to stop for a second to give you a chance to yell at me for mentioning it, and then we'll move on.
Well, at this point, I'm at a lost cause with you and naming that episode. But then you do your I'm damned if I mentioned it, damned if I don't speech, and we just go around in circles. So I want you to know that I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Oh, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Oh, it's like a parent tactic.
Yeah.
Good, very good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Not even disappointment. I'm gonna be normal. Gotta carry on like it's fine. But know that there's a genuine disappointment there.
Yeah, gotcha. But it's
this isn't for the podcast, Dan. There's a genuine. You've hurt me.
I know. I hurt you with my words, don't I? Those two words specifically.
I feel like this is what the remaining members of One Direction felt like when Zayn left.
Yeah.
We could have done so much, and you
went and said the words "cat fingers." Yeah, agreed.
Can I just say, one of the best things, just with the use of apologise for swearing, and this is a irrelevant tangent, but we do murder mystery things at work where we all get given a character and we have to, someone's been murdered and we have to guess who it is. And my favourite moment from a murder mystery ever was my friend Connor, who's he's not a drama person, he's not into it at all, really. And he was playing the security officer. And the guy, obviously, this dude died. And I was like, oh, so you're chief of security and he's dead? And Connor just looked at me and went, I'll be honest with you, I fucked it. And I just thought that was
such a human response.
Such a playing the game, but really not playing the game response.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, but it's cool because like the way this show builds its background characters by having them have very small roles in other episodes. Because he mentions his blog the first time. I can't remember exactly. I think it's Steven's Lion. There's a scene in Steven's Lion where Steven goes into the pizza place, Fish Stew Pizza, which obviously was referenced in a recent episode we saw, the episode with the secret team. And Steven goes into that shop, and there was a scene that you actually complimented. It's that whole thing about Steven's pregnant. Remember that whole line of jokes?
Yeah, I found it very entertaining, yeah.
Yeah. That scene, Ronaldo is in that scene on his laptop, and he mentions his blog. So it's what I love about this show is that sort of like the characters are very consistent, even if you don't notice them enough and they seem like a background character. To the point where, like, you know, it'll take an episode like this to put focus on them for you to even start to remember who they are. Like, I remember Frybo, there's a bit where obviously the costume goes crazy and starts throwing characters around. One of them was Lars. And I remember saying to you at the time, did you recognize the guy that gets thrown into the table? And you were like, no. I was like, that's Lars. He was in the donut shot in the first episode. And you're like, okay. Like, because at that point, you didn't really know who Lars was. And obviously now, Lars is obviously a big part of the show, and you're very familiar with the character. So what I love, though, is that the show
doesn't... love your impression of me there, can I just say, but carry on.
You didn't love?
Didn't love it, no.
I don't remember what I even did.
We didn't start this podcast when I was a hormonal teenager. Carry on.
I think we might have done. It feels like that long ago. Anyway, my point is, what I love about the show is its commitment to building these characters slowly and not feeling the need to make them very clear and introduce them in every single episode. Like, they can just be part of the background and we can meet them later, and that's fine. And it makes the world feel textured and it feels right.
Yes, but that, and I don't disagree with that point. I think it's worth bringing that point up. But that point is the the good that you are finding in this episode is to complement something the show is doing overall, and this episode is an example of the show doing that.
Mate,
Still don't make it a good episode.
I'll be honest with you here, Chris. I fucked it. Because
you're right. All of those things are true, but fundamentally,
this episode's not great. I know.
It's just not a brilliant episode.
No, look, okay, the episode's flawed in a number of ways. First of all, you just don't care about Ronaldo. You just don't. They don't make you care about him. He doesn't seem complicated enough. He doesn't seem interesting enough. He's just a conspiracy nut. There's a few good gags and a little bit of action at the end, but ultimately, everyone makes silly decisions. Nothing makes any real sense, and it doesn't really go anywhere. And in the end, he's exactly like he was when we left off. You could skip this episode and not know the difference. 100%.
Yeah, but he's annoying as well. I don't think it would be that bad if they just didn't make him so annoying.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Yeah, that is fair. That is fair.
Do you agree that Stephen was just a bit dim?
Yeah, I mean, look, look. I get it. Maybe the holes in the walls. So basically, for those who don't remember, in this episode at the beginning, Ronaldo's taking him around to all the evidence he's collected for weird things that are going on in Beach City. One of which is holes in the wall, which, if you remember, were made by the drill parasites in Arcade Mania. Now, I could forgive Stephen for not remembering that because he's in the arcade trying to get Garnet while those things are attacking. So maybe he wouldn't quite connect those. Fair enough. They find the red rocks in the floor. They're actually fragments of the big red eye thing they destroy in Laser Light Cannon. Now, they were on the beach when that exploded and didn't see where all the fragments went. Maybe he didn't put the two together. Sort of, bit thinner, but I'll take that. Fine. The flowers from his mother's moss that he and Lars on the top of the hill in Lars and the Cool Kids saw bloom and float away over the entire town. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. But also, would you not go, there were snake people, the gems probably would have mentioned it. Or, weird stuff, it's probably us.
Yeah.
Like, you just...
Or, that flower that he's saying is weird, it's got a gem in the middle. Wonder if we're related to that.
Yeah, I just think, it's just odd.
Yeah, Stephen does come across a bit dim, but I suppose we're trying to show his naivety still, that it is still he is still a kid ultimately, and I think this episode's trying a little bit to demonstrate that unsuccessfully, because I think ultimately the episode is a bit of a what's the phrase, a damp squib.
Damp squid. Yeah, I never know if it's squid or squib. Yeah,
I think it's squib.
Because they showed his childlike nature in his reaction to being able to warp in the island episode, and in his relationship with his dad in House Guest. So they can do that without doing this, I think.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. It's definitely damp squib, by the way. Just thought.
Okay,
cool. I googled it just to clarify. Although the choice of sentence that they've used in the Google definition of this is weird. So the description is a situation or event which is much less impressive than expected. In the run of episodes we're in, this episode is less impressive than expected. So damp squib fits. The sentence they've used to use it in a sentence is, my moment of power was a damp squib. Fuck is that? Anyway,
that's weird.
One other thing I want to talk about, because this really... Oh, it's so annoying. I had it up and I've managed to... I lost it in order to look up damp squib. There we go. Can I just... This is a quote from Pearl from the episode. I just want to take this out of for a second, because this is one thing I will compliment the episode on, because this is a genius piece of writing. Host Stephen. Humans just lead short, boring, insignificant lives. So they make up stories to feel like they're part of something bigger. They want to blame all the world's problems on some single enemy they can fight, instead of a complex network of interrelated forces beyond anyone's control. And then Amethyst adds, it's sad and funny. Right.
It was good.
That is incredible, because she's not just talking about conspiracy theories, she's talking about religion, she's talking about the way that certain people who are very nationalistic blame all their problems on other countries, or how half the country I live in thought the EU was the source of all of its problems for a little bit. It's got political out of nowhere. Still a bit bitter about Brexit, evidently.
Yeah.
So
because those people got it wrong. Carry on.
Yeah, so very wrong. Anywho,
But hey,
Remain,
what's a lack of evidence or any clear, concise plan to stop people voting sensibly? Oh, turns out I'm still also a little bit bitter about Brexit. Who knew? Carry on.
And who knew that like just populism and just rampant nationalism could result in such a skewed vote? Also, turns out still bitter about Trump. We've had a shit year, haven't we? Shit like year or two. Oh
yeah. And who knew that, calling me overweight would make me ultimately insecure? Still a bit bitter about my mum calling me fat. I feel like that's a deeper personal
Which also,
thing.
I'm pretty sure at the point this goes out in September? Or August, maybe late August. The episode of Nothing But Static you're referring to there is many months old.
Oh mate, my mum's called me overweight consistently. So that applies. But yes, there is a drunk episode of Nothing But Static.
Nothingbutstatic.co.uk/128 for more.
Yes, Dan and I get drunk. If you want a drunk episode of Steven Universe, let us know. Steven University. I get drunk and tell a story.
I don't know if we'd ever be able to do a drunk episode of this. That'd be a bad idea.
I thought, I know it'd be awful. I thought you were, but I thought I'd put it out there in case loads of people were like, drunk ep.
The bits. Sorry.
I thought you were going to be like, yeah, but by the time this goes out, Chris, in September, you'd have lost weight, you fat pig. Really challenging me.
That'd have been fair, but that'd have been way better. Anyway,
carry on.
So I think that quote's genius because it's indicative of like human nature, but it's also indicative of like a million and one things. It's just very, very clever, and it's also so smart that the characters that would understand and get this are the characters that are thousands of years old and they've watched humans chase their own tails for so long that they're just like, just let them do it. You can't stop them. They're simple-minded things. Do you know what I mean?
I do think it's a shame it's lost in this episode, but like I said earlier, it's a great moment.
It's very, very good. That quote is genuinely brilliant. So yeah, there's that. So that's one positive, I suppose. But on the whole, you're right. Not the best episode. There's some nice nods to continuity, and I do love Steven Tag at the beginning. Well, and also, one thing I want to bring up actually, Steven Tag's interesting. Do you remember last week, Chris, when was it last week? Maybe the week before. Secret Team.
Yeah.
Garnet uses shapeshifting to make her arms go big and long into those sort of puddle portals, and they come out and grab Pearl and Amethyst. Pearl asks Amethyst to shapeshift. Pearl herself will not shapeshift. And when Amethyst puts that back on her and says, I can't, Pearl's like, I can't concentrate, right? This week in the episode, Garnet is shapeshifted into Steven. Amethyst is shapeshifted into Steven. And when they approach Pearl to shapeshift into Steven, once again, she refuses to shapeshift. Now, I'm only noticing this on the rewatch, and I'm wondering if this will at some point go somewhere. And that is for me to say to you that they've not really done anything with that idea yet. But it is worth noting that Pearl and shapeshifting seems to be a barrier there, and I don't know what that is, and I don't know whether that'll ever if that'll ever go anywhere or whether that'll go anywhere. But it is something I've observed in more recent episodes in terms of like where we are in 2017, and it's something I'm now observing more keenly in these early episodes. But I thought it was worth noting.
Yeah.
Any thoughts,
definitely.
Chris? Any theories? And this is genuine theorizing because I don't know either.
She either can't do it or she had a bad experience doing it and refuses to.
You see, that's what I've been leaning towards. Something traumatic happened. Happened that soured her on fusion. I wonder.
Or shape shifting rather.
No, sorry. I said fusion. I meant shape shifting. Yeah. Sorry, I knew what I meant. So I thought that's interesting. But anyway, any other thoughts, Chris, to add before I?
No. I'm good.
All right. Well, we didn't like it that much. We thought it was fine, passable, and I'm sure all you Sneeple out there thought it was great.
That is no. We might be. I'm happy to hear arguments for why it is better than we're saying.
Stick them in the comments down below. Tell us why we're wrong. Absolutely. I think that goes without saying every episode. Please feel free to tell us when we're wrong. And I'm sure you will. You won't disappoint. So that's been everything for this week. I've been Dan Doolan.
I've been Chris Billingham.
And we'll see you next week or next episode as we discuss fusion cuisine.